Has there ever been a case where data has contradicted human intuition, and how do you reconcile the two?
Hmm. Data contradicting human intuition. That's a good one. Let me think. Well, this this is a profound question. A good way to wrap things up. It gets right to the heart of this partnership between human experience and technological insight. Okay, the tension that you're describing or implying, data contradicting intuition sounds pretty serious. And it happens more often than one might think. It's not always a bad thing, but usually where it matters is in areas where the sheer scale or the subtlety of the data far exceeds human capacity to track it. I think of something like, say, predictive policing or target, targeted marketing, right? Human intuition says, "Oh, I know my neighborhood, and I know who's likely to buy product X, Y, or Z." But then the machine comes back with an insight that goes against this gut feeling, this intuition. Classic example in retail might be, say, a system that identifies that your highest spending customers are not the ones that you assumed would be the highest spending customers based on past demographics. It might be, say, a niche group in a completely different zip code who only buy on Tuesday mornings or something. Your gut says, no way, that can't be true. But the data drawn from millions of transactions is statistically irrefutable. See, this happens because, well, the data can detect weak signals, or the AI detects it, non obvious correlations that are simply too complex and too voluminous for the conscious human brain to register. But at the same time, we're still going to use our intuition to check that data and make sure that it's not just an anomaly or something, circumstances behind it. Reconciling data and intuition requires an intentional perspective shift. And by that, I mean, we've got to view the conflict not as a competition between us and AI. No, view it as a crucial, essential feedback loop that's designed to eliminate human blind spots, just like a person telling you something that's contrary to your opinion. It's just the AI telling you the same thing. When something contradicts my intuition, my first instinct shouldn't be to reject the data altogether. It should be to ask myself, all right, what am I missing here? What's my intuition missing? Right? You may end up concluding that you're wrong. I'm wrong. And after examining the data, you see that it's an anomaly and you go with your instinct anyway. Now there was some circumstances behind it. The two need to work together. The data provides the what, and the human expert is what provides the why. All right, back to retail here. I don't know, that may or may not be a good example. Let's say retail data shows that, say, there's a Tuesday morning spike. Okay, the human expert uses their intuition and experience to investigate that spike. Okay, what's going on Tuesday? Is there a software deployment cycle in the storage system? Is there a local government payday? Is there a nearby transit issue? Whatever, right? The best decisions are never made in a void, are never made with only the data, and certainly not made by ignoring that data either. They're made when the human mind, armed with this seemingly contradictory algorithmic insight, develops a smarter, more informed intuition. Intuition is great, but it needs to be informed in order to be accurate. And it incorporates the scale and the precision of the machine behind it. The goal isn't to trust the one over the other, not in competition, but to use the friction between the two to spark genuine, durable insight. And hey, you know what, Tiffany? The best use of technology is to make us less reliant on the machine and more reliant on our own newly informed wisdom that we might have gained from that very same machine. That's how I see it.